Wylam River by day, a tranquil setting for a hopeful fisherman, but the riverside glittered by Friday's night, a reminder of the other side of Wylam life. This spot, though hard to believe by day, is where all the local underage drinkers go. The park, a short distance away. By day, senior citizens enjoy the early summer sun, and young boys play tennis, but at weekends it is another well-known spot for underage drinkers. What goes on?
Does it? Well, you tell me.
No, are you aware that any goes on?
Yes, I'm sure there are some incidents of underage drinking.
Well, have you actually ever seen it happening?
Oh yes,
Is there anything you do about it? Or?
Well, it depends on the circumstances. Obviously, each case has to be judged by its own merit. But if necessary, then people will go to court for underage drinking.
Go to court for,
yes.
Say if you caught them first time?
Yes, first time maybe caution by a senior police officer or possibly a court appearance. It would depend.
But is it, say they were just seen with drink outside, is it?
Well, they would, if they were on licensed premises drinking, then obviously they're committing offences, and if they're under the age of 18.
What about buying it from the wine lodge?
Well, if they're buying it whilst under 18 from the wine lodge, again, they would be committing offences, and so would the licensee for selling it to them.
And would you actually say anything would you just maybe go and see a licensee and...
Again, it would depend on the circumstances and what questions the licensee
say they didn't know how old the,
Well, then it's up to the licensee to really check before he sells any intoxicating liquor to persons who are apparently under the age of 18.
Have you had trouble with people underage buying drink, especially from the local licensee?
No, there isn't a great problem that exists.
So is it more the public houses?
More people under the age of 18 are tempted to go into pubs. There are very few incidents happen in this area, but I know particularly in the town, in Newcastle and the bigger areas, it does exist.
Are people underage often taken in town, do you? You see lots of police around in town. Are they more there to make sure there isn't any trouble, or are they there for looking for underage drinkers as well?
Obviously they've got quite a number of roles to play, and if necessary, they will visit licensed premises to check underage drinking, the same way as I do locally, check licensed premises.
Do you think you need more people there?
More policemen?
Yeah, to help.
More policemen will certainly be to our advantage and to everybody's advantage, but again, it's the cost of employment.
Say for a village, for a village like Wylam, do you think you would need any extra to...
Well, it's not just Wylam that has to be covered, you see. We cover an area of 300 square miles, and all the villages north of the river is my responsibility. So it's not just Wylam. It's bound to go on. I mean, it's inevitable that it will go on. And unless you had a policeman in every public house checking them, then it will go on. But people have got to realise that it is illegal, and if they're caught, then they face the consequences, and that may mean a court appearance.
Do you think you need stricter laws then?
The laws are due to change, or the Home Secretary is considering a change in the law, where the onus is put more on the licensee rather than the individual. So we'll wait and see what that's effect. See, at the present, the law says the licensee shall not sell or supply intoxicating liquor to any person apparently under the age of 18. Well, apparently, it can be interpreted various ways.
So is everyone going to have identification or something like that?
Do you think that's a good idea?
Identification's a purely voluntary basis, which they're running down south in one particular area down south. And certainly it's a good idea, and it would protect the licensee from prosecution, certainly. If he asked the person, if he didn't know them, know their age, or he suspected them to be underage, then it would be ideal asking for identification, wouldn't it? Yeah. Or, ask for a job.
One of the two off licenses in the small village of Wylam, and there's been a number of reported incidents of children underage, some as much as...
Have you had much trouble with underage drinkers to buy alcohol from the premises?
Yes. It's growing in momentum, I have to say.
Does it happen often?
Most weekends.
Do you think it's a good idea to have identification cards for me?
Very much so.
If someone came in your shop and you weren't 100% sure of their age, would you still serve them with alcohol?
No. The penalties are too great for a licensed holder to do that. You'll face a £200 fine, plus the fact your licence may be taken away from you. I feel a right idiot. You could laugh at that.
Have you ever made any mistakes that you have found out about later? You served someone and found out that they're underage?
I once served a girl several years ago with alcohol. She looked about 20, and I saw her 3 days later in a school uniform and I decided she was 15.
Did you do anything about it?
Refused her on another occasion.
Yeah. What did you... So that's the only action you took?
Yes. Men.
So,
And in fact, I'm very much in favour of the identity system because the law is going to change shortly. At present, the wording of the law is, if I'm charged in court with serving alcohol underage, the wording is that I knowingly sold alcohol to someone under the age of 18. Men.
so,
And in fact, I'm very much in favour of the identity.
so,
And in fact, I'm very much in favour of the identity.
so,
And in fact, I'm very much in favour of the identity.
so,
And in fact, I'm very much in favour of the identity system because the law is going to change shortly. At present, the wording of the law is, if I'm charged in court with serving alcohol underage, the wording is that I knowingly sold alcohol to someone under the age of 18. And if I go into court and say, look, as I did with this girl, whom anybody would have taken to be 20, if I said what she was made of, she said she was 18, how did I know? I would probably be let off with a caution, the way the law stands at the moment. They're going to alter the law, whereby the law will now say, if you sell alcohol to anybody over 18, they're going to cut out under 18. They're going to cut out that wording that you knowingly sold it to just the bold statement that you sold alcohol to somebody under the age of 18. So in that case, I think you've got to have identification cards to protect the licensee.
If someone came into your shop and you weren't 100% sure of their age, would you still serve them with alcohol?
Okay, I think that's in line.
Okay,
I don't want
chunks of the law.
I should do that.
He started drinking in the boat. It's not going to the police or anything.
But you don't want to have the guns anyway, they kind of do now.
George, how old were you when you first drank in the pub?
Dunno. He's just wasting the apple.
Were you underage, George? Were you underage?
Aye.
And was it the boathouse?
Aye.
Either of you two ever underage drank?
Yes. A few times.
David,
Yeah, plenty times.
do you ever go into pubs to do it?
No. Yeah, I've done it once, twice. Pubs in Wylam.
you reckon the age limit should be brought down?
No, I think it should be 21.
Underage drinking in the community, and what effect do you think it has on the school and you as a headmaster?
That's 3 questions in one. Yes, there is an underage drinking problem. It doesn't do the school's image any good if they are known to be from the school. And how does it affect me as a head? Not directly, though obviously it's something of which I'm aware.
As a front for the school, you know, does it?
It concerns me, yes.
Yeah. So do you think you have a responsibility as a headmaster to try and prevent the problem, or at least to take action when it happens?
Yes, and we do. Known cases that are brought to my attention, are brought to the attention of the parents involved.
Yeah.
And through the school's community department, the youth leaders work very closely on a policy of trying to eliminate that particular problem.
Mm-hmm. So if you found out about a case in the locality involving the pupil of the school, would you report it to the police, or would you talk to the persons involved? Or?
I would talk to the people involved and advise them that perhaps in any case of repetition, then there would be a need to take it to a wider authority.
So for the first time you wouldn't inform the police, or?
Well, you've got to be careful, because that depends on the magnitude of the offence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody has been led by peer group pressure to have a couple of mouthfuls of lager or something, as opposed to somebody who has perhaps raided the drinks cupboard at home and done something stupid as a consequence of it, you know, there are different categories, and therefore you've got to treat each case on its merits.
If there was a case where someone was caught underage drinking by the police outside the school, would you try and get involved with it, or?
No, I mean, if the police are the first point of reference in a case, they might wish to involve me at a later stage. I mean, they might come and discuss the matter with the school. That has happened. But if it's outside school, and is already known to the police and is being dealt with by them, then it's no issue for the school to be involved with.
But they might want to?
They might wish to discuss it with the school, yeah.
I see. How would you handle it if there was a case in school time, and has this occurred before? I mean, what would you do do you think that's more serious than it happening out of school?
I think any breach of school rules has the potential for serious repercussions and is dealt with accordingly. If people arrive on the school premises for any event and have been known to take drink, then it is not unknown for them to be invited to leave the school premises.
For good?
Not necessarily for good. You've got to, again, relate it to particular situations and circumstances. The school has an authority over pupils as they travel to the school and from the school for school events, and it must be careful that it doesn't try and exercise its authority over pupils of the school outside those boundaries. Because remember, we are acting in loco parentis. The school has responsibilities, but the parents have greater responsibilities.
Say if somebody had gone home and had been at dinner time and had been drinking and came back in another state, what would you do under those circumstances?
They would be disciplined and would be returning home fairly sharply, and would return in the fullness of time with their parents to discuss the particular situation.
Have parents been involved before?
Let's say if parents were to be involved in an incident of this kind, it would not be for the first time.